Yeah, we got people in here already. Coop, how you doing, bro? Happy Monday. We usually don't do this on a Monday. It's usually Patreon time.
I finally slept.
You said what?
I finally slept.
Well, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Got to get your rest and all that. It's been a long weekend for everybody. Welcoming everybody into the room on this special Monday edition of A2HH Live on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on YouTube, and make sure you hit the bell icon so you know when we're going live. We're gonna get right into it. How was your time at Madison Square Garden? How was your time in New York? We know that Coop went. Hold on one second. Coop went to Madison Square Garden to watch Nas and his one night only performance. But first, before we get into the concert, I want to ask how New York treated
you. New York was amazing to me on a personal level, Mike. As soon as I got off the plane and hopped in 007's whip, first of all, the whip was very 007-like, okay?
I bet.
Whip game was 007-like. The World Is Yours is playing, and he looks at me and says, guess where we're going? I was like, we're going to the bridge? He's like, we're going to the bridge. And that's how my trip to New York started. So
nice. So after that, you guys start preparing to get into the, get into the mood of what you were about to see that night. Were y'all playing some music, or what was the build up? What was the pregame for the Nas show?
Me and 007 definitely had the Nas on repeat. So he had already, true 007 fashion, truly organized and diligent. So we're playing Illmatic. It Was Written, Stillmatic, Lost Tapes, KD1, KD2, KD3. He's already got it queued up. So one album is just queuing up after another while we're riding around. And we have time to ride around because the traffic is real and it's serious. So, we went to the bridge. I stayed in Long Island. So he took me from the bridge after we got done in the bridge. He took me to Long Island. Then he went back to snag his, and he came back to Long Island and picked me up. And then from there, we headed to the garden to park early because we had to go do Sweet Chick. So that's how all of that kind of unfolded. So most of the day was actually like in the whip having hip hop convo with 007 and listening to Nas. Now, here's what I'll tell you. First of all, shout out to Armando. When me and 007 pulled up to the bridge, and first of all, I want to say this, you know what I'm saying? And I said this, I think, in one of my spaces that I'm in. I was like, yo, I pulled up to the bridge at 10 a.m. I wouldn't have pulled up to the bridge at 10 p.m. without knowing anybody, because you don't do shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So we pull up. Me and 007 get out the whip. We're walking towards this building. There's this couple behind us. They're coming to do the same shit we are. So shout out to Armando and his girl who came from Denver. And he's a photographer and a dope-ass photographer. He sent me some stuff. We actually need to get plugged to him, Mike. He's a pretty amazing photographer, and he shot me some shots this morning that he took with me and 007 on the rooftop. So, and shout out to his girl, because you want to know if that's real ride or die, to go to the bridge with your man at 10 in the morning when you're from Denver. Like, I know what we pulling up, but I mean, like, think about what she doing with the Illmatic shirt on and like all that. So it's like, shout out to her. So we're all outside politicking together, Mike, and it's just like literally a lady just comes out and opens the door and is like, do you want to come in?
Yeah.
And so that's how we got in the building. It's just a lady came downstairs and actually let us in, which, like, borderline, Mike, you know what I'm saying? In retrospect, it's like, that could have been a whole nother type of play. I think about that when I'm in a spot like that. You know what I'm saying?
It's true, but it's.
I doubted it. The energy felt good. Yeah. It felt righteous. It felt like, it was supposed to happen in a positive way. You know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
So we was probably in the bridge, Mike, for about an hour, actually, maybe even a little bit longer. And we walking around the neighborhood, and we got to the mural, and we was taking some pics at the mural and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you're still in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? And it's not your neighborhood, so we seen a couple things where it was like, I told 007, I was like, I was like, we need to, and he paused me. He was like, I already seen that too. I was like, okay. And so, like, we got to a point where we kind of had to redirect our path, because people had kind of noticed that we were there and kind of let other people know that we was there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we kind of had to make a beeline at the right time. And people didn't think that we seen it, but it's just one of those things. You should be on your P's and Q's when you're in the neighborhood, especially when you're pulling up in somebody else's neighborhood, like just all bullshit aside. So after we was at the mural, you know what I'm saying, we dapped them up and we slid. And and from there, it was pretty much just car rides and walking till we got the sweet chick. You know what I'm saying? We had to walk. So like I guess the post office that that we're gonna talk about that Nas's mama apparently worked at, like we had to walk like pretty much from Sweet Chick to like halfway to the post office, like just to pick up the Uber. So it's like we're walking, we're in the whip, and people are running up on me, Mike. Like people ran up on me, like niggas was shouting us out in the street, Mike.
That's what's up. Well, yeah,
Like-
I saw that you met some of the some of the listeners in person, and that's
I didn't
really
meet
dope.
some of the
when those-
listeners. I met hundreds of the listeners in person. Like I didn't meet like 10 or 20. Like I literally met hundreds of our listeners on Friday. Like Mike, one time I was just walking the street and one dude, he was like, "You the nigga from According to Hip Hop? What's up?" That was it. That's all he had to say. Niggas was walking by me in the gardens like, "I love what you do. Keep going, nigga." Like the niggas was just passing me by like, "Yo, what up, Coop?" Like it's different up there. I realize. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas really like was pulling up on me like they knew me. Like, but in a good way. Like, "Yo, what up, Coop? Like, we glad you came up."
That's love, man. Shyster30 with
No, it
the
was
super
love.
chat says, salute to you guys. I was looking for y'all rap roundtable. Was it Ease? And you too, Coop. I was in section 220. Drove all the way from Pennsylvania, took a day off of this. It was so epic. Godson, body MSG. Yeah, and for anybody else who went to the show, feel free to put your experiences in the chat as well. I was gonna ask you about the actual show itself. Mike H with the super chat says, "Dapped up Coop and MSG." Yeah.
See?
Mike,
That's what I'm saying.
met
Like,
everybody,
niggas was just
right?
rolling up on me. Like, "Yo, what up, Coop? How are you, fam?" I was like, "How are you, man? Like, I appreciate you." Like, yeah, all that.
That's what's up, man. And like I said, we appreciate y'all and all the people who weren't able to make it. I hate that I wasn't able to make it. I was in here working in the studio, cranking out some content. We got some really dope stuff coming, man. Mickey Fax came through with a great, we had a great weekend here. A lot of productive stuff. But I was going to ask you about the set list, right? About how many songs were done, would you say, overall?
About 30 to 35. I would say 33 or 34.
Oh, wow. Special guest.
Mary.
Okay.
So he performed Reminisce, and then he had Mary come out for Reminisce.
Okay.
Him and A did Life's a Bitch.
Okay.
Hit Boy came out for Mike and Quincy, but he came out like in the Michael Jackson like red glitter like pants.
Okay.
And the black shoes. That was dope. Slick Rick performed Hey Young World, or actually Nas performed Hey Young World with Slick Rick, which then went into a montage of, my personal favorite, The World Is Yours, which I thought was apropos. I actually did covered Hey Young World on my Mirror Music podcast, Mike, and I told people on that podcast that The World Is Yours is inspired by Hey Young World specifically.
Definitely.
And there's your evidence. And I saw Slick Rick outside the building after the show, and he said what up to me. Like, I just told him that I loved him, actually. I was like, "Yo, Slick," I was like, "I love you. My cousins love you." And he was like, "Yo, I appreciate that."
One of the greatest ever, man. Now, that guy is your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, for real.
Yeah.
League
I
of
didn't
M
have
with,
the same experience with Busta Rhymes, but we don't talk about that, Mike.
yeah, the Busta Rhymes experience. That's Busta. Leah M with the super chat says the show was epic. Nas is getting emotional when he spoke about his mom. Had me in tears. So proud of him. Very proud moment for him. Hip hop. It's a beautiful thing, man. 9+ with the super chat says, great seeing Coop at Sweet Chicks. Met a fan that flew from Kenya. Yo, people were
Hmm.
flying from all around. What was
I
some of
met
the
Fam too. I took a picture with Fam that came from Kenya.
nice?
There's another. I took a picture with Fam too. Or I think I put him on the show. Mike that came from Dubai.
Yeah, I heard you say something about somebody coming from Dubai. Yeah, he was on the, I guess, the pre-show that we did. What was that, Friday? TJ with the super chat says, "Real talk. When New Yorkers love you, nothing can change that. We support and love hard. And as a New York native, A2HH is forever solidified. We appreciate that, TJ. You know, we say some borderline stuff here, but we just try to keep it real, man. You know, we talk about the New York biases and all of that, but we are super. We can't be a hip hop fan without having super love for New York. You know what I mean?
I'm going to be honest with you because we're going to have some honest conversations about what the honest ass New Yorkers like shared with me about a multitude of things, Mike. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they respect us because they see that we don't really have an allegiance. You know, it is like, you know, they don't have a filter, and really neither do we. Like, we just call it like we see it, and I think that's
Right.
what they respect. So even when they are in opposition of what our thoughts or sentiments may be, they respect those sentiments because we're being authentic with those sentiments.
Right.
And that's what I really, really felt overall. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just telling niggas, like by the end of the night, Mike, to be honest with you, I was a little frustrated because I was like, I don't get love like this when I go home to Charlotte, or quite frankly, when I'm out in Atlanta. And I know more people know who I am, like in those two places than in New York, even with this podcast.
Y'all
And
gonna make
folks was
Coop
just
move to
telling
New
me,
York.
no. A couple people just pulled me to the side, told me they was like, and this is exactly how they told me. They was like, Coop, you's a rap nigga though.
Yeah.
And down there, a lot of what be going on don't be no rap shit. And they just got into, you know.
I mean,
And
listen,
so like,
there's a different kind of love for the craft. I'm saying, not. I don't want to say. I don't want to be general about this, but there's a different kind of love for hip hop up top than it is in other regions. You know what I mean? And I think that here in Atlanta specifically, and we had this conversation when we were talking about the Ludacris thing. I think Atlanta is so focused on the next that you kind of get lost in that whole, okay, what's next, as opposed to really taking in the legacy and giving the proper props to the people who are the foundation, even here. I mean, we talk about the fact that Big Boy stuff don't be getting spins like it should here. That's a problem. You know what I mean? And
it
so I
is.
think that's our overall outlook, generally speaking, in Atlanta, except for the people who are heads like us who really like, who want to actually peel this whole thing back and really give proper credence to everything.
No, but this is what I mean. Okay, so this is what I mean though. The love is different. So I can remember. I mean, Mike, and I'm gonna go back on this. This is when I was still like actively like rapping. I was putting my second project together. It was my third project overall. I did a project with my cousin Six. I did my solo album I put out on iTunes. I was working on the second one, which was banging. So this is probably 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I was in 10 Pin Bowling Alley. You remember 10 Pin?
Yeah, I remember that. Atlantic
I was
Station.
in the station. I was in 10 Pin with my man Lionel. Lionel's a black Frenchman. And and this is back when I'm still hyper outcast fan, Mike. This is back when I still think they're gonna make another album. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. It's like I'm going back. It's like, no. I'm realistically still thinking in my mind it's 2008, 2009. It's like, no. They're going to make another album. That's like, that's crazy that they just going, no, we're going to get another album. So I'm just giving you like the level of fandom that I'm at. Like, I can remember going up to 10 Pin with my man Lionel. Big Boy was up there. He seen Big Boy. He went crazy. He was like, I'm going to go get a picture of Big Boy. He was like, you coming? I was like, that ain't me. He was like, that ain't my style. He's like, but you love Outkast. You love Big Boy. I was like, I ain't doing it. It's like, that ain't me. That ain't my style. I was like, I don't do that. I was like, I don't take it. That ain't how I want to get down. So, and I say this respectfully. I watched probably about maybe 5 or 6 or 7 people in like that forum maybe walk up to Big Boy and ask for a picture. Everybody else just kind of treated him like he was everybody, except for my man Lionel, about 5 to 7 other people. I stood there on the side, Mike, because I wanted to watch how many people was going to come up and ask my man for a flip. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Big Boy's moved around the city a lot and got around, but niggas was just treating him like he was another dude. I mean, Mike, and I say this respectfully, I didn't get treated like another dude when I was up there on Friday. And that's what I'm saying about, like, will we be a little bit too cool for school with some shit, too? It's not just a rap thing.
No,
it's almost like not wanting to acknowledge certain shit. And I've seen it firsthand with somebody who I respect and I admire. Now, I may not be the type of nigga that just want to take a picture with a nigga because he's famous, because that's never been my style, Mike. But, everybody else should have been that way about Big Boy in the building that night. You know what I'm saying? Ain't a lot of dudes like me walking around.
I mean, you know, I always respect people's space, right? And I try to go up to folks on some I appreciate your work type of thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, the general overall love, where love is love thing, where it's not like you're being a fan on some super, you know, fanning out over some fame stuff, but you really appreciate the work that people put in. I told CeeLo that when I seen him. I saw Scarface that when I seen him. Like, I really appreciate the work y'all have done, you know, type of thing. 007 with the super chat. Shout out to 007. He said, A2HH is the best hip-hop podcast out there. Salute. Salute to you, sir, for showing my man Coop around New York.
No. I mean, I'm
gonna get the same treatment.
007, like, I'm forever in his debt. I mean, this man rode for me until he physically could not drive and move me around anymore for a full 24 hours. He made himself available to me and at my disposal for a full 24 hours. Introduced me to his fam, introduced me to the city, showed me how the city moves, took me to the bridge, took me to Long Island, took me through Queens, showed me Left Rack, where Noriega's from, you know, explained to me how the blocks work, explained to me how the boroughs work, explained to me how the traffic work, explained to me how the airports work. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I told him, I said, in 20 years, we're going to sit back and be talking to each other about this day that we spent together and the concert and like all that. And even like when him and his fam went to his seats, Mike, I was like, I'm going to go politic outside and see what it do. And that's when a whole like mass of people started just like running up on me. I was like, yo, I'm in the garden. The niggas know who the fuck we are. I was like, you can't beat this.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Uncle Fran with the super chat says, Mike, I wanted to meet you too. Coop, my brother was talking about your glasses. Cash, cash, cash. I'll be up in New York very soon. I mean, we both got to go up there. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I hate I missed this, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. A couple people gave me some static about you not being up there. That's what I mean about like, no. They was honest. They was like, yo, Coop, what up? I was like, yo, what's up, fam? They'd be like, yo, where your man's at?
Yeah.
I was like, Coop. They was like, Mike. They're like, where Mike at?
You know what? How about this, man? We need to plan to do something in New York, period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, both of us.
No, we do, Mike.
I don't know if it's maybe some sort of an event type thing. I don't know if it's just maybe an interview that we do up there specifically. But, yeah, we need to do something in New York, especially with all this love, because that's a beautiful thing to get love in the Mecca like that. Jay Short with the
Mecca is different.
Yeah, we got to figure out something to do in New York. We definitely got to do something in New York. Jay Short with the super chat says, that crowd reaction for Made You look special. That might be his signature song now. I've always said.
So that was the conversation. That was one of the rap conversations in the car. I was like, if you give me a song, I was like, I know it's not his like lyrical miracle performance, but I'm like, that shit that you feel, that shit that bangs, that hits.
In my personal opinion, it's his best single. It's my favorite single from him.
And I'm just going to flash forward and tell you, for me, the most striking moment as far as performance-wise was doing the second verse to Memory Lane a cappella deep into the show. Like, keep in mind, this man's turning 50 this year.
Right.
And he's about 31, 32 songs in. Mike, being able to spit that verse on record at 19 was phenomenal. I still think it's one of his 5 best verses. Personally, like for me, his second verse on Memory Lane is still one of his 5 best verses. If I'm like parsing all his shit out, like that's still one of his 5 best verses to me. I thought it was the best verse on Illmatic when I heard it. And I still feel that way about the verse.
1 for the money, 2 for pussy and foreign.
Pussy and foreign cars. 3 is for deceased niggas that's locked in behind bars. I rap the Vanguard, check the prognosis. Is it real or showbiz? My window faces shootouts, drug overdoses. Live amongst the roses, only the drama. For real, a nickel plate is my fate. My medicine is the ganja.
Yeah.
Is my thesis. My razor embraces many faces.
You know, I never heard anybody say that's one of their favorite verses on the album. That's a very strong verse. I love the first verse.
I mean, lyrically speaking, it is the best verse on obviously, arguably one of the top 5 lyrical performances ever recorded on record for an MC. I think that's the best verse, like pound for pound on there, because it encompasses all the things that make him the MC that he was notarized for on that album and since.
No, you're right. I
kind
always
of like the thing that's like super lyrical, nostalgic rap.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I think that the whole song has always been one of those time capsules for him on that album, because a lot of people will tell you Memory Lane's their favorite song on Illmatic. And I think that's because the mic performance.
It was for most of my childhood, Mike.
I think that's because he's doing what he does best, like you said, the nostalgic rap, and the level that he's rapping on both of those verses and the production on it. Premier did his thing on there. You know, Represent, for me, was that bar work that I liked from him. It was the second and third verse. Actually, it was the second verse for me of Represent.
Is that the one? Catch me walking wheel of bop with my head turned back. Yeah. Love committing sins and my friends.
This nigga raps for
it under my tongue. The school dropout. Never liked the shit from day one.
That life ain't shit.
I'm gonna tell you what, Mike. He did represent. Represent ran out. How about this? I'll tell you this, Mike. As far as like crowd reaction, I think Represent was a top 5 crowd reaction in the Garden.
Well, let's get into the actual.
And I'm gonna tell you what. And I'm gonna tell you. I think only Made You Look sound wise may have hit harder than Represent, Mike.
Wow.
Truthfully.
We're gonna get into the show. Let me get to these super chats real quick. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, it was a special moment to see Nas standing on the MSG stage, getting choked up while talking about his heavenly resting mom, saying, "Mom, we made it." That is beautiful, man. Shyster 30 with the super chat says, and the audience all around the sold out arena was chanting the GOAT. Ghostface on IG, salute. You are the greatest. Wow. I gotta check out Ghostface on IG saying that. Yeah,
Ghostface and Raekwon think that you are the greatest. Like, that's not like Mike D and Coop saying that he's the greatest MC of all time. That is motherfucking Raekwon.
Those are his peers. Those are his peers who are also some of the greatest.
Them ain't regular peers. Them is top 10 to 15 MCs.
Oh yeah, who are in the greatest group of all time.
In their own right. It ain't like that. Ain't like somebody that's like is like the sixth man. No. Those guys are Hall of Fame starting players, like in their own right on separate teams. Like they're like no. That's that nigga.
Who played for the greatest team of all time?
Right, they played for the greatest team of all time. They're like, that's that dude, though.
Yeah. 36 Chambers with a super chat says, Coop, what was your favorite performance of the evening? Haven't seen the set list, but I'm sure it was crazy. What was the highlight?
I mean, Made You Look in the memory lane. That's what I mean. Like, for me, see, this is what I mean, all-encompassing, Mike. It's like, no, this dude is 50. He's about 32 songs in. He cuts the beat out and does a cappella, the second verse, the memory lane, flawlessly, Mike.
Has his performances gotten better over the years? Because I know, like, I mean, for me, because I had that DVD, what was that? It was around the Godson time, right? You know what I'm talking about?
The one where Nas and Jada come out. I mean, the one where Luda and Jada
comes out, yeah. And I remember his breath control being, you know what I'm saying, like, not like what it is on record. But it sounds like, from what I've seen from the Wu-Tang shows, like he's become a better performer as well over the years.
I mean, I'll tell you what, Mike, when I saw him, I think this was my 4th time seeing him.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I didn't think it was that good. That was a long, long time ago. The next time was at the Tabernacle which I think that happened maybe a couple of years before Life is Good came out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I thought that performance was really good. Now, I went to see him at Rain for my ex-wife's birthday, right? The year after Life is Good, I think it came out. I think it was either that winter or sometime, but it was on the Life is Good shit. And she was on the stage. That's the story I was telling about how when I came in the building, Jungle was hitting on my wife. That was that night. Mm-hmm. That was the best I had seen him perform because I had a close-up look at him, like really, really for the first time. And vocally, like you said, Mike, he could do all the things on the songs. Now, I'll tell you this. That was a smaller stage and set, and I was super, super close to him. So that probably for me, and because of the moment, you know what I'm saying, it's probably going to resonate more in my memory in terms of him performing. But as far as an overall set of the 4 performances that I've seen from him, this was the best one because he's learned to do all the things as a performer. Like his crowd engagement is much better than it was in the previous 3 performances by far. That matters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So his crowd engagement is much better. His energy was much better. And so that's what I mean. When I look at it, it's like, oh, well, you've gotten better at this and you're 50. And it's like, you can still spit the second verse to memory lane on top of all those things. So it was his best performance that I had seen to date, Mike. And I've seen him, quite frankly, I've seen him at like, you know, if he's had 4 stages of his career, well, I've seen him officially in all 4 stages of them. You know what I'm saying? I saw him early, saw him twice in the middle, and now I'm seeing him on the back end. And it's like, this was his best performance in my opinion.
Wow. Justin Jones with the super chat says, I traveled from Buffalo to see the show. Nas was in rare air on Friday as a performer. He's now a 10. I love that. You know, and that's interesting.
I don't know if I would go 10, Mike, because 10 means that he rivals KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah, that 10 is Busta Rhymes, Kane, and KRS.
I'm not giving Busta anything after what I seen and after what niggas in New York told me. So we're gonna say KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but you know, whatever.
We gonna talk about it, Mike.
Hey, man.
Because apparently I was the only one who didn't know, because I was the only one in that building that wasn't from New York, apparently, or didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Listen, I have issue with some of the things Busta has said as far as, you know, Black Americans not having culture. But, you know, I don't know any of the other stuff.
We're going to get to it, Mike.
Our man with the super...
Front and center.
Okay, cool. Our man, with the super chat says, peace. Continue to give Nas his flowers. He deserves it. Incredible show. Shout out to A2HH. Coop, it was great meeting you for the first time at Sweet Chicks. The food was awesome. A2HH forever. Yeah. Let's see. We got some.
Man. Appreciate you, fam. And the food was banging, Mike.
Man, it looked like it was. No,
food was banging.
We going out there. Yeah, I'm gonna have Coop, walk me through Sweet Chicks and we get some food, man. TJ with the super chat.
I might want to go to Brooklyn next time, Mike. We might need to do the one in Brooklyn.
Yeah. We'll do the Brooklyn one.
We actually might need to do both. We'll talk about it. Yeah. I'm pretty certain we can get some okays, maybe, you know what I mean, to do a couple things, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I'm with it. TJ with the super chat says, when Nas did 30, the building went crazy. Nas was talking his talk. Swag was different on that song. How did you feel about when 30 dropped, Coop?
I believe I'm the one that's been saying that 30 was a single and was a banger. When I mean one of the top 5 songs that rang out, I will put 30 in there too, Mike. 30's a banger.
I hear it. I hear it on the NBA
more than I like 27 Summers.
I hear the track for 30 like on the NBA in the background or whatever, like NBA on TNT. I think they're playing it. I feel like Shaq rapped over it or something too.
That joint goes hard, Mike.
Andrew Green with the super chat says Coop was for real the ghetto reporter. He was moving like a celeb and visiting QB. The video from Sweet Chicks was dope, seeing the commentary with the community linking up. Yes, that is dope, man. I mean,
I haven't even posted the real dope footage yet. Not even the real bridge footage yet.
Nice. Andrew Green with the $20 super chat also says, appreciate the love. Also says, seeing the show on video 30 looked like it was the most lit and high energy. Hit Boy gave Nas some stadium flow beats. The highlights for me was Memory Lane acapella. I know Coop lost his mind when Death Row East dropped though. Yeah, how was it when Death Row East dropped?
Hey, Mike, I thought maybe Death Row East was just for me. I thought that. I really thought that when it came on. I was like, oh, he's listening to me. He got some Death Row East. That's what I'm talking about. No, that shit knocks, Mike. That's what I mean. It's like, and this is why, and we need to have a little Hit Boy conversation. And shout out to Hit Boy because I saw Hit Boy liking the shit that I was posting and retweeting the stuff that you were posting for According to Hip Hop. So thank him for his continued support. But these beats, Mike, that Hit gave Nas, well, they play really, really well in the stadium, Mike. Like Blue Bands, no. That shit knock.
Well, that's
30,
awesome.
Knocks. 27 Summer, knocks. Ultra Black, knocks, Mike. He gave him some stadium flow. And this is what I mean. I mean this respectfully. It's like the only songs that I heard that was knocking like hit songs was Represent, Made You Look.
Was Nas's like done? No? He didn't do that?
I wasn't expecting. Okay, so here's what you guys have to understand about the way somebody that Nas rhymes. He doesn't stop and breathe briefly the way Black Thought does or Rakim does. He tends to just keep on looping himself around the beat. So asking him to do some of that shit live, Mike, when you're talking about the breath control, it's like, well, Nas is Like is one of those songs. It's like, oh, you really want it? You know what I mean? That's asking a lot. You know what I mean? At 50, for him to do 3 verses of Nas is like at 50. You know what I'm saying? Freedom of jail, clips asserted, the baby's being born the same time a man is murdered, the beginning and end. As far as rap go, it's only natural. I explain my plateau and also what defines. No, that's live. That's live. That's different.
I don't know. I think he can pull it off.
I think he can pull it off, Mike. All I'm saying is he asking for a lot because he's already doing Memory Lane acapella and doing Made You Look and doing Represent and doing Life's a Bitch. And you know what I'm saying? He's already doing a lot.
Adal with the super chat says, one mic was right behind Memory Lane. Acapella for me, watching recordings to me. Salute to you guys. So he did one mic?
He did.
Okay. How was that? Well, Mike's a difficult. Now that's a difficult record.
Everybody else does.
That's a difficult record to do.
Yeah, it got good. It got good feedback, Mike. I mean, it was him in the Garden. I mean, I would say, and this is what I mean. It might have been his best performance. I'd never seen him perform that long either.
Okay.
Every time I had seen him, it's only been about. I don't think I've seen him perform more than 10 songs until now.
Wow.
Like I think that night in the Tabernacle, he might have done 15, maybe. So, I mean, he literally like doubled the output of anything I had ever seen him do. It wasn't easy. And also, too, like, his transitions were quick, Mike. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't take long, like, when he left and came back. Like, no, he came back relatively quickly. Wardrobe change, They did a good job. There was some,
Jermaine Johnson with the super chat.
Confetti,
we'll get into that. I want to ask you about that. Like, what song was that for? Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, it felt like every glamorous drug dealer from Queens was in there. I could see the money and smell the money in the air. Andrew Green with the super chat says, people front on You Owe Me, but I saw a bunch of dudes vibing with their ladies at the concert. He did You Owe Me?
He did You Owe Me.
I think that's a good move because that's one of those records that people try to clown him for. But let me go ahead and pull this one out and see how it rocks.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. This is what I mean. It might have been his best show. Well, he didn't feed anybody anything. He fed everybody everything. And so I wasn't with a woman, so I wasn't dancing to You Owe Me, Mike. I was by myself. So I wasn't dancing to You Owe Me.
I'm sure you could have picked up something in the arena real quick.
I mean, first of all, everybody know who I am. Shoot or shoot. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I came on a business trip, Mike, so I came to handle business. That wasn't part of the itinerary. Not on the itinerary. So
that's business too.
Some of the time.
Yeah.
But But here's what I'm saying is that like, man, Mike, you made me lose my train of thought with that.
I was talking about You Owe Me, and
Right. Well,
yeah.
Mike, he did the Hot Boys verse too, and so when he did "You Owe Me" and did the Hot Boys verse, I sat back and I thought to myself, it's like, man, this fan base has been unkind. You have to understand these are two of his bigger records. You have to understand, even though I don't like Nostradamus and went platinum pretty fast, Mike. Pretty certain "You Owe Me" had something to do with that.
Oh, of course
You
it
know,
did.
Hot Boys was #1 on the charts. There's a reason that he jumped on that remix.
It's
You know
true.
what I'm saying? It's a good look, and it's almost like it reminded me that it's like, oh no. He needed to do these records because he needed to have this performance one day. Stadium flow.
No, you're right.
Like as much as I love like Life's a Bitch, let's keep it real. That's not stadium flow, and that's more about Nas and AZ and their chemistry and the depth of the bars than that is. That's more about what it means in our hearts and how it rings out performance-wise.
That's more of an intimate setting record to perform.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But
It's
don't
fine.
don't
It's
limit
still
the
a-
artist. Yeah,
It's still one of the greatest rap records ever.
yeah. Rakashaba, the super chat says NYC radio hate for Nas is real. I'm hearing not one mention of the concert. They normally give out free tickets to callers numbers 97, Hot 97, or caller 105 on Power 105, but no love for Nas. Shameful. I think that the no love is based on the fact they probably had nothing to do with this show. I think most of the times,
Now, why would that
listen.
be? Now, why would they have
I-
nothing to do with the show? I wonder why.
Well, this is the
What
thing.
type of behavior have they exhibited that would make that type of thing occur?
I'm not gonna put any aspersions on any of these radio stations, but I know just from my experience in my time in radio, the quote unquote payola that labels or whatever had with said artists getting played was based on the fact that yes, they were able to give the listeners those free tickets. So basically, they had something to do with the show, and they're working together on the show. So they're working with the label to say, look, we'll let people know about this show, give us some tickets or whatever. And the label's like, okay, cool. We need you to play our artists too a certain amount of times if y'all want to be down with this type thing. So the fact that you're probably not hearing anything or didn't hear anything was probably the fact they just had nothing to do with the actual concert. And Nas probably did this on his own. Mass Appeal and them probably did this on their own. That's what I get from the fact that Power 105 and Hot 97 didn't say anything, especially the fact that Ebro has been very vocal lately of, giving Nas his props.
Including today.
And Ebro's kind of saying some of the things that we have been saying.
I told you, old man back outside, this is what I'm saying. Him and Nas came into a game around the same time, so he's looking at it he's looking at his own mortality and being like, hold on, y'all ain't about to talk about family. Hold on, I'm his age. You saying I'm not on top of my game?
This is what Ebro said. He said, when speaking of the greatest MCs, please remember, he started off with the Jay-Z thing. Jay-Z dropped a 4-minute verse within the last 12 months that became an international incident. He dropped his first album in 1996. Then he says Nas has dropped 4 albums in 3 years. He dropped his first album in 1994. What the F are y'all saying? Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, nobody else really is qualified on that level of activity to be number 1 and 2. So I feel what Ebro's saying there, but I'm glad that he mentioned the Nas dropping 4 albums in 2.5 years. Well, he said 3 years, but whatever. Who's doing the math? Shyster30 with the super chat says, Nas barely touched his catalog. When the tracks from Nostradamus rang off, even dudes that hate Uchiwali and You Owe Me was dancing. I'm
Okay,
on
now,
fire.
first of all, here's my thing.
He said I'm on
This is
fire
what I
was
mean.
fire. He said I'm on fire was fire. He did I'm on fire?
He did. And there was fire and pyrotechnics when he
Okay,
did
so
I'm on
that's
Fire.
where the pyrotechnics come in at.
No, Mike, there was pyrotechnics the whole show. He did Hate Me Now.
Okay.
There's plenty of fire, Mike. That's what I mean. It's like, no, they did a whole performance for him. Like, okay, so the way that it was supposed to go is that, the songs, the backdrop was telling stories. So it's like, what we find out is that Nas is on fire a lot because there's a lot of pyrotechnics. You know what I mean? Not just on fire and BAJ on the song, Mike. There's a lot of pyrotechnics. There was some confetti. It's all that. It's great.
Well,
They were telling stories in the background on the screen. It was nice, Mike. He came out. The stage was a 3. King's Disease 3, and then it had the main stage for him to perform on in front of it. So it's like you had to walk past the 3 to get to the front of the stage. So even the set design was fly.
Jay Short with the super chat says people clowning Uchiwali, but looks like the ladies in the crowd loved it. Nas has.
I've always said that beat was banging.
Oh,
that beat was
crazy.
banging, Mike. It's just that verse isn't good. The song is banging. The beat's banging. It's just the verse ain't that tight.
Jay Short also says Nas has the unhappiest fan base ever. You're right, Coop. You need concert songs. Yeah. I think that, man, since he hit everybody so hard on a core level, people always want that same feeling. It's kind of like that Cypher Sounds, what Cypher Sounds was saying when they were talking about Magic. They want the same feeling that they got from Illmatic every time this man touches the mic.
Mike.
It's retracing a high.
No, Mike. Damn their feelings, Mike. Play Death Row East because you can play that in stadium like he just did. Like I've been saying it was, Mike. I'm like, that shit rides. How many songs does Nas make that makes you want to dance or bob your head to a ride to in the whip? I'm like, no, Death Row East is that. Play that shit. I already know he can do all the other stuff. I already know you can do all the intricate stories. I know you can do the nostalgic, reflective rap. I know you can do the rhyming off your ass, linear or non-linear for like days on end. Look, we know, man, make some shit we can ride to and that you can play in the stadium, please.
Yeah.
So you can fuck these niggas up. Right.
That's what it's about. I mean,
Death Row East, Mike, store run.
To be able to do everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to just totally isolate an audience where you become one-dimensional because of what your audience wants from you.
That makes some bangers.
Yeah, 36 Chambers with a super chat.
You want to know what? I'm excited. I'm going to tell you what. I just want to sidebar right quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Benny because it's like I understand things differently now, especially even from doing the coverage of all of this. And it's like, give Benny some bangers. Like, forget all that Tana Talk shit, Mike. Like, you already did that. Give me some bangers.
Well, that's
real. Get your stadium flow on, fam. For real, get your stadium flow on.
36 Chambers with a super chat says, how did the crowd react to 30 and Get Light? I feel like those are some of the underappreciated bangers on KD3. Did he do Get Light?
He did do Get Light as well.
I love that record.
How about this, Mike? I thought it was going to ring a little bit harder, but I still love the record.
Okay.
30 definitely rung out harder, but I always preferred 30 to Get Light. And I thought 30 is more appropriate for the times, too.
I think 30 just has more of a massive, track as well.
Stadium flow, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Stadium flow.
Jay Short with the super chat says, I would have loved to see Quick to Back Down and the Don mixed in a set. Uchiwali and You Owe Me, good energy. So, okay, let me ask you this, man.
You can keep Quick to Back Down.
I wasn't a big fan of that record either. Let me ask you this, though. How balanced was the KD, KD2, KD3, and Magic attack? Did you hear more of one album than the other, or was it pretty balanced?
Well, the only thing you got from Magic was Speechless and Wave Gods.
Okay.
So that was it for Magic. The first 3 records, we damn near thought he was just going to perform everything in order, Mike, because he came out to the King's Disease intro, King KD1 intro.
Right.
And then he went immediately into Blue Benz and Car 85.
Okay.
And he did Ultra Black as well, eventually. So those 4 songs got performed. I think 27 Summers got performed. So that was 5 records from KD1 that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, KD1 got a lot of run because it got those 5 records on it. KD2 got some Death Row East, Mike.
Okay.
Got some Death Row East live.
What about Nobody?
Pressure?
No. Okay. Nobody?
Yeah, he had some things to say at the Pressure, Mike. No, he didn't do Nobody.
What did he say after Pressure?
Because here's what I wouldn't do Nobody without Lauren either.
Okay.
So he did Store Run.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, he did YKTV. Rare. So there was 5 right there. KD3, he did 30, did Get Light, did Mike and Quincy, did Thun, did Legit. So that was 5 right there. I'm on Fire, that's 6. So that was what? So where that? That's
you said he did Reminisce too. That's it.
Reminisce. So I told you KD3 a top 50 rap album, Mike.
KD3 is the one.
I told
Shyster
you KD3
30.
a top 50 rap album.
Shyster 30 with the super chat says, this man sold out MSG on KD trilogy. Keep in mind. Yeah,
KD3 better than Life is Good, Mike.
of course it is. No question. Platinum Fan with the super chat says, couldn't believe Nas did Speechless. Great seeing Coop. Bumped in the jungle at the end of the show. Sat by Fat Joe and Remy in the crowd. Yo, Platinum Fam just had a night, man. That's what's up.
So he had a ballerific night.
Right. Mike 100 with the super chat says, Coop, pleasure meeting you in Nas's spot. I told you Thun was going to ring out, but I was wrong. 30 was the slapper. Yeah. That's good to hear, man. TJ with the super chat says, Nas addressed the QM stuff. The Quentin Miller stuff while Pressure was
That's what
playing.
I'm about to talk about with the Pressure, Mike.
If you know, you know. Okay, so what did he say?
I need 2 seconds.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I'm gonna let the people tell you, Mike, because the people that were there tell you like he kind of like addressed the whole Quentin Miller thing. 2 seconds.
Okay. Cousin 08 with the super chat says, represent is Nas's We Will Rock You, Queens. That's crazy to think, man. I thought Represent was just one of them records that I loved. You know what I mean? I didn't think that was going to be a banger on a large scale at Madison Square Garden. I was thinking, obviously, The Made You Looks. I was also did he do If I Ruled the World and those type of records, or were the commercial singles more so the You Owe Me and Uchiwali? What were y'all favorite performances that were done that night?
Well,
that's what I want to ask.
Mike, it was a fair mix of everything. It's like that's what you really realize is that like you know,
that's what it sounds like.
Those choices, like how about this? Those quote unquote questionable choices. Well, in retrospect, 30 years later, now that he's playing the Garden, it's like, how questionable is Uchiwali? It's like, no, because that shit bangs live, Mike. Hot Boys, You Owe Me. You know what I'm saying? It's
you know
like,
what? No. Hold on, let me say this, though. I think that the question about Uchiwali was never the track or anything like that.
Beats fire. Beats always been fire.
It was his performance, I think, people were hung up on. And I think him being who he is and what we've heard from him before, it's like, you expect certain things even on records that may not even cause for all that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing we have to understand. All these records don't cause for all of the things that sometimes we ask for. And we have to, you're right, he has the most unhappy fan base ever because they don't let this nigga breathe. Like, they don't let this nigga breathe on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Like, we let all our other MCs breathe on the mic. It's like, think about it. It's like every time, think about the few Rock and guest features he's done. We've been like, man, he blazed that. But we don't never be like, man, that ain't no microphone fiend or know the ledge.
No,
the lyrics of Fury. Do we do that?
No.
Does the Jody Watley features that Rakim did strike you as something that's gonna make like his all-time bar catalog? How about The Truth Hurts first? You get what I'm saying?
No, I feel you.
We don't sit up there and do that to the God, do we?
That's just how great this guy is, man. I mean, that's all I can say. I don't know.
No. I mean,
we
I
don't
get
do
what
this
you're
to
saying, but it's
anybody
like
else.
he's the only
We
one
didn't even do
of
this
all
to
the great
Biggie.
MCs, Mike. He's the only one that they do that to. It's like nobody asked KRS-One to make fucking Criminal Minded again. You know what I'm saying?
We don't even do that. We didn't even do this to Biggie when Biggie got on.
No, we didn't.
Like,
Nobody asked him to make Ready to Die again, nigga.
Well, not even that. I'm just talking about like his R&B features, where it's like, you know, it's clearly a toned down Big, right? But nobody. Oh, I think Coop's going out. No, I think Coop's back. I'm sorry. I think it's probably the signal here because I'm at the studio actually. But yeah, no one is saying that the Big. Like when we knew the Big's verse on 112's Only You is not like some super lyrical masterpiece or something. You know.
Like that ain't no kick in the door.
Yeah. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says AZ was in the motherfucking building. Still sounds great. Okay, so you said he started it off with the KD stuff, right?
Yeah.
So he went just what?
Mike, that's what I mean. It's like it was a tour de force. He bounced everywhere. He did Get Down too. And I'll tell you what, he knows his catalog, Mike. He played a lot of the stuff that he knew would play well live. Like Get Down, Made You Look, Off Godson. You know what I'm saying? He played the shit that would play well live. He did Uchiwali because it plays well live. He did You Owe Me because, quite frankly, he has a female fan base.
What about
He has a female fan base. Like there are women that came out to see him too. They want to hear their shit too. That's what I mean. He gave everybody everything.
What did he do
It
off of
ain't
It Was
hard to
Written?
tell.
What did he do off of It Was Written?
If I Rule the World,
Okay.
Street Dreams.
Okay.
I personally would have liked to have seen the setup, but I knew that wasn't happening. He did The Message, of course.
Okay.
The Message was one of the last songs he did.
Okay.
So he did those three off It Was It. That's what I mean. It's like, no, he knows his catalog. He did the stuff that he knew that the core fans were going to want, like Represent and Made You Look and Get Down. But he did the stuff that he knew people were going to know, like If I Rule the World, Hate Me Now, Uchi Wally, You Owe Me. But like he did some of like the funky shit, like the Reminisce mix with Mary J. Blige, the Hey Young World to the World Is Yours with Slick Rick. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He fed some of that core unhappy bass with Life's a Bitch and Memory Lane. You know what I'm saying? Like he did some of everything for everybody. It was really a very well played set list. And it's one of those set lists that really shows you how truly diverse and agile his catalog is.
Yeah. So I Am. You got Hate Me Now. What else from I Am? Anything else?
There might not have been anything else from I Am.
Okay. Nostradamus, you said you got You Owe Me. Didn't get the song Nostradamus? No. Stillmatic?
You better not have done that.
Stillmatic, you got One Mic.
Yeah, One Mic. Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
Really?
I wasn't expecting to hear no. Well, here's what you have to understand. This is what I mean. You have to understand something. And I love some Stillmatic. How does those songs play outside of that album playlist in a stadium in Madison Square Garden? It's like, because the only one that I can think of would be if he were to start off the whole show with the Stillmatic intro.
Right.
You feel me? The rest of that stuff, it's like, well, isolate Rewind. It's like, you think he about to do Rewind live, Mike? Because here's the thing. If he misses one point, we're going to be like, oh, he ain't got it no more. You can't do Rewind live.
Shiesta 30 with the super chat says, Rule from Stillmatic's transition to Rule the World. So he did Rule?
I don't remember that part, Mike. I might have intentionally blacked out.
Oh, okay.
Like, I might have been a low moment of the show.
Michael Williams with the $20 super chat. Appreciate the love. He said the concert was the perfect crowning moment. GOAT status solidified. Shout out to Coop. Met him at Sweet Chicks and warned me about going to QB to get a pic of Nas's mural. LOL.
Just told nigga be careful. You know what I'm saying? I'm just told him what happens. Like, me and 007 had to cross the street a little bit early, pivot through the bridge. Like, and I'm gonna say something, Mike, I'm funny about rolling with people because like most people don't roll the way that I roll, but it was cool. Like me and 007 actually found out a lot about each other today because he sees the things that I see and kind of moves and thinks the way that I move. And when that happened, it's like, oh no, we had already both in our minds redirected our navigational map back to the whip.
Melvin Wright with the super chat says, what was said about Quentin Miller? Thanks for reporting, Coop. Yeah, what was said?
He pretty much just said, this shit I write is my life. So, fuck you and fuck your team if you think differently.
I mean, who really thinks that Quentin
Who
Miller
believes this? Like,
writing
what type of sane individual that's listening to I Gave You Power and Rewind and Take It in Blood in The Message, in New York State of Mind, in Memory Lane, in One Love, who in their right mind has heard these records thinks that he has a writer?
Right. Born King with the super chat says, watch the show on YouTube. I saw Slick Rick's face light up when he came on stage. He also had the Mo D shades on. Would have loved to have seen the Recession Proof and Full Circle. Stellar performance.
I would have preferred Phone Tap over Life's a Bitch because it plays better in the stadium.
I think that beat would have rang out. But we all know that if they both
That's
get out
there. That's what I mean
there,
about feeding the core, though.
I was going to say, if them two went out there and did anything and didn't do Life's a Bitch, that would have been a problem.
But why can't you do both is what I would say.
Probably time constraints. I mean, I don't know. They were probably fitting the show together or whatever, but
I mean, I'm sorry, and this ain't because I'm cool with Glove now. Phone Tap is one of the best beats that both of them niggas have ever rapped on. So fuck all that.
Yeah, Phone Tap's crazy.
Fit
Nah.
that shit in. At least the first verse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's the dilly? I just touched down back in Philly. Bought a pound with me. Feds floating around silly. Must have found wind. Caught the boo, but her and that slow hoe Gwen could have known she was a bitch that we both could have boned. Posted alone. The ass had us both in the. Just do the first verse and then go into life's a bitch. It's about a minute 30 seconds. Another 90 seconds.
I feel you. I feel you.
I don't
Super
know.
chat here. Mark Thompson with the super chat says, salute. Love the show. Keep up the good work. Appreciate the love. Salute to you guys as well. Big Bob with the super chat says, Coop, since you was there, do you think this MSG performance was like Nas's verses saying that he could go toe-to-toe with the best in the versus battle? He picked his set perfectly, in my opinion.
I mean, it depends on how you're looking at things. See, he does things that other guys can't do. Like Tupac and Biggie would be his biggest problems, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Because the level of their bangers. It's not that just they have bangers. It's how great the bangers are. And so he would have to kind of like, it's a styles make fights type of things. You would have to kind of make it some more on some rap shit. You know what I'm saying? And make people decide. You know? It's like, imagine this. I Gave You Power's a better song than Me and My Girlfriend. Which one plays better live?
Me and My Girlfriend.
So you see what I'm saying about how it's like, that's why Pac and Big would give him problems. But outside of that, it's like, yeah, like Pac, Big, and Snoop like would give him a problem because of the level of the bangers. But outside of those three guys, I wouldn't be too concerned if I was him. Outside of those three guys, two of those guys are not here. So
I think him and Jay would be an interesting pairing.
Not at this point, Mike. That's what I'm trying to say is that no. Store Run, Death Row East, The Pressure. I just heard those live. It's what I said it was. I just heard Get Light and 30 and Legit and no. Not now.
Yeah.
Not now. What like okay, let me get off my Death Row East kit. What he got for Legit and Fun?
You talking about
shit hit live. Shit hit live.
I think you know what I need to. I didn't realize
they did the whole 5 heartbreaks. They did the whole 5 heartbeat scene in the background on Legit. Yeah, like they did the whole thing.
Yeah. Latoria with the $50 super chat. Appreciate the love, showing super love out here. She said the show was amazing. Memory Lane was a standout. The breath control. That man's been working hard on his craft. Nobody sat down the entire night. Store Run was a highlight for me. 30 bumped so hard. The vibe and energy was indescribable. Let's talk about Store Run. Let's talk about Store Run. Since she mentioned that, and I know that's a lot of people's favorite. We had the store set up
in the back. I like this is what I mean about how like visually they did right by him because it's like no, the store was set up in the back when Store Run came on. Like they showed truly how vivid and how visual he is with what he writes with their backdrops because all of his backdrops need a visual aids, Mike, because he provides you with those.
Oh yeah,
like in spades.
I think we were talking about that on a previous show, just talking about his detailed, attention to detail when it comes to him writing his bars and telling his stories. And the fact that they actually brought that to light is a beautiful thing.
Well, this has always been the thing with him, and this was always the thing after Illmatic, is that make the visual aids match the message that his words provide because his words are enough. And so I thought that the sound, stage, and lighting and performance as far as providing the backdrop and the visual aid of things that's supposed to come with a big show like this, I thought they did an excellent job.
Jay Short with the super chat says, did the plug say anything about documenting the event and releasing it? Yeah, would they possibly put this on, I don't want to say DVD, people don't do that anymore, but just in a package where people are able to actually watch this at a high level and high quality?
Of course they did. They're business people. Be foolish of them not to do that. You know, one of the genius business moves of the night was doing the whole Nas and New York Knicks merchandise pairing. Everything sold out, Mike. Everything. Everybody who sold merchandise up here got paid heavy.
Yeah, did anybody get some merch? Because I'm sure it did really well.
Yeah, everybody sold merch, Mike. I don't want to throw people's numbers out there that I got, but it's like, people made thousands of dollars. Everybody that came up there with merch made thousands of dollars.
That's awesome. Okay. So what was the closer?
Shoot, to be honest with you, Mike, I don't remember what the exact closing song was. I
You
probably
don't
have to
remember?
go check my videos.
You don't remember what the closer was? What was the last song of the night?
I feel like If I Rule the World was the closer. No, Mike, it was a long night. You have to understand too. I was operating off about 90 minutes of sleep.
You know what? That could be a great Netflix special too, kind of like a build up to that concert, a behind the scenes type of thing. Because you know what? I feel like this is the time to do something like this when you have a full scope of a career to this magnitude. Like, we're almost 30 years in with this man's illustrious career, and the fact that he's still active and still current, I think this is a perfect time to encapsulate something like this into one video package. Born King with the super chat says, One Mic was special. He had his Rocky moment when he got emotional, holding up his arm and his fist ball like he was the champion. Yeah, like he was the champ. Excuse me. Yeah. I bet that was crazy. You know what? I wasn't going to watch it on YouTube, but I'm going to watch it on YouTube, man. I was going to wait for the high quality visuals to come out, but this sounds like it was an epic performance. Coop, you going through the phone? Oh, we don't want no copyright strikes here on YouTube. You know how they do. So did anybody get some merch that was out there? And what was your highlight of the concert? While Coop's looking through here, you looking for the closer?
Yeah, it was If I Ruled the World.
Okay.
I wasn't tripping.
Well, that makes sense. To end the MSG
with your biggest single.
Yeah, and with that message. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fitting. G Fist with the super chat says Nas was already prepared for his show coming off tour with the Wu-Tang. It had some same visuals in the background, which was amazing. You know what? They actually extended some of those dates too. They announced it today.
Yeah, they're going overseas and then they're coming back.
Yeah, hitting some of the cities I don't think they hit the first time. So,
yeah. We need to pull up for one of those.
Yeah, I'm thinking Nashville or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. My brother lives in Nashville, and that's right around my birthday. We need to get it cracking. We need to take the streets.
Yeah.
My bro already plugged up there too, so we'll be good when we up there.
Wu-Tang. I mean,
forever.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love the fact that Wu-Tang and Nas have made this thing a full circle. I don't want to say partnership, but just kinship over the years, man. They always
grew up together.
Yeah.
They've known each other since they were like 17, 18, 19 now, Mike. You know what I'm saying? They're all like going on 50 or over 50. It's like, yeah.
Is Busta Rhymes going to be on this tour too?
I don't think so.
What's your Busta Rhymes story?
Well, Mike, so when I'm outside, I'm waiting for 007 because 007, he had his tickets with his fam. I had different seats.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm outside the garden, Mike, and niggas are still walking up to me on the street, Mike. Everybody's like, yo, Coop, is that you? I'm like, yeah, it's me. Like, what's up? They like, you look lost. I'm like, I'm not lost. I'm like, I'm just looking for my peoples. I was lost, Mike. I didn't know where the hell I was.
I mean, yeah.
At the end, look, after a while, they was like, yo, because people kept running up to me, like, Coop, you lost? I was like, nigga, this is my first time here. I'm lost. Stop playing with me. But anyway, so, Mike, there's a Maybach, like, right there on 33rd and 8th that, like, I'm standing over by the train, and there's a Maybach, right there. You know what I mean? I don't know who Maybach it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice Maybach. It's a nice Maybach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But keep in mind, I ran into Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying? Said what up to Slick. Slick said what up.
Right.
Same spot that I'm standing in when Slick came through. Busta came through about maybe 10 minutes later. Except for, like, he had two dudes on the side of him. And, like, one of the dudes almost, like, pushed me out the way. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened that it's like I was kind of, like, turning looking for my man. And when I turned the other way, he was kind of, like, in front of me. And I was like, yo, Busta, what up? And it's like, yo, and other niggas was, like, trying to say what up to fam. I mean, he acted like nobody was even there. And then niggas started running up to me. It's like, no, that's who he is. That's what he do. I'm like, what you mean that's what he do? It's like, you're just in the garden chilling. It's like niggas are just saying, like, hello, how you, like, what up? It's like what the fuck is that? It's like it wasn't like on no like It wasn't like there was a bunch of wolves outside. It's like we just came outside the garden. People just got done spending their money. Everybody kind of like politics and saying what up. Slick Rick just got done taking pictures with some fans. Once again, Mike, I didn't ask for no picture. I just told the nigga that I loved him, called a little photo of him, called it a day. So it was just one of those things. But the conversation then became that, like, you know, he's kind of known for being that way with the fans. And, like, that's not okay.
Well, I mean, he just recently threw a drink on a lady that, you know, touched his backside trying to get his attention.
It's very problematic how he behaving out here, Mike, and niggas know, and that's why I'm saying something about it. It's like, nah, Buster, don't do that. Like your city is talking about how you behave, because they was talking to me about your behavior in the streets of New York after the show. It's like, nah, like niggas was literally rolling up on me like, Coop, don't even feel no way about that. That's how that nigga gets down. I was like, that ain't no way to be getting down.
I mean, again, I can't.
Like, it wasn't just me saying what up. Like, I seen the other niggas trying to show him love and say what up, and it was just like, it's like, first of all, it's like on some real shit. It's like, you're not even Slick Rick to us, so it's like, stop doing that. We just saw Slick. Slick just came out and showed us love.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. It's like you have to understand, Slick Rick had just got done, and that you could tell. And Slick is older, and you could tell he was tired, Mike, and he still took time to flick it up with a couple fans, and he didn't have no fucking entourage. He just had his wife with him.
You know, the first thing that pops in my mind when you tell stories like that, I'm thinking like that Drake song, man, where he's talking about privileged rappers. Like, I mean, I feel like he's talking about Kendrick on that song. But I think that is kind of a mentality of somebody who takes this for granted, man. Like, the fans don't have to support you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
And again,
you know exactly what my thought was, Mike. You know what my thought was when that shit happened. I was like, this nigga got a lot of nerve. I don't remember the last time he played an album that like got bumped for a long time.
Well, the thing is, man, like, you know, obviously the fans don't own you either, but you know, you can give.
It was a what's
You can
up.
give people respect, man. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't even a picture, Mike. It wasn't a picture. It was a what's like a hello, a salutations, a greeting. Hi.
I don't know.
Hello. What it do? How are you? Pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah.
Some simple shit.
Jay Short with the super chat says, for all the people saying the KD series isn't outside or only trying to underestimate their impact, are going to have to explain that crowd reaction. Yeah, well, that is true. People are going to have to explain this crowd reaction for 30 and for these newer songs that aren't getting radio play from a whole Madison Square Garden crowd. Because if people didn't know these records, people wouldn't react. I mean, it's just
so when I said he had like 6 or 7 singles on this album, people thought I was fanning out. How you feel after you hear it in the stadium and he performed the 6 or 7 songs? Most of the songs which I said were fucking single ready, legit, fun, 30, Get Light, Mike, which is a personal favorite of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get back to this privileged rapper thing, though.
So do I, Mike.
This
Go
notion, and the thing is, man, again, I'm not saying that the fans own artists, but artists also have to understand that without the fans, literally, they wouldn't be there. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line.
You have to understand something, Mike. Like, I'm a solid dude. So it's like, you know, I pulled up and asked some questions behind the scene. And those things going to stay behind the scenes because I'm solid. But I didn't like what I seen, nor did I like what I heard when I asked questions this morning about the man. You feel me? And so it's like, Mike, part of how you end up keeping a source is because you do not violate the confidentiality of the source. So I will not be doing that shit. You feel me?
Well, again.
But I ain't pleased on either side. And Mike, did you see his name on the tour? I believe Method Man's schedule should be more available. I look forward to seeing Method Man on this tour, not Busta Rhymes. I've met Method Man before, Mike. I ran into Method Man at Freedom Mall when I was 14 years old on the west side of Charlotte. You know what? When I said what's up to that nigga, you know what he did?
What's up?
What's up?
I mean, all it is just being cool, man. You know
it's
what I mean?
Hello.
Yeah. Don't nobody want nothing from you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna sit here like
he just didn't know. He just didn't know that somebody that, like, you know, broadcast live, like, was sitting out there like trying to say what's up to him. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't have no microphone.
I just saw a clip of, you know, and I just saw a clip of Busta Rhymes. I want to say it was at the Grammys, ran into Adele. He was calling Adele queen, empress, kissing her hand and stuff, and it's like, huh.
It's
But
very problematic.
you know, but the people that's
Very
been rocking
problematic.
with you forever, you treat them like that. But Adele is this queen and empress, huh? I don't know, whatever. Maybe it's Hollywood games, not sure, but you know, it's got to be like sometimes got to be like Rocky 3, man, where you got to get back down to the streets and the people who made you and remember where you come from type thing. But again, that's why I say privileged rappers, you know,
Well, when you do
and
that
I
shit, the Coop gonna let everybody know.
but I
So how
think
about that?
too, when you have people who have been on since they were teenagers, it's
I don't
like
give a damn.
you're
I don't give
taking
a
no,
damn.
I'm just saying you're taking this for granted.
Yeah, that's why
You
I don't
don't
give a damn.
remember not being famous. You know what I'm saying? You don't remember not being famous.
Kick
Uh,
rocks. Lost a fan.
TJ with the super chat says Green Lantern had the crowd hyped and ready for Nas before Nas came out. New York
Yes.
loves the locks, and the Garden showed that. Kiss over Buster. Yeah, I mean, I think most people would say that. Like, you know, as a Buster fan, right? He lost me
I,
when
I
he
would.
was out here talking about Black Americans have no culture, and I'm like, well, you are a hip hop artist, and that's black culture and that was made by black Americans and that's what you basically built a career on, and you have the nerve to say that the people who built this culture that you're basically making a livelihood in don't have culture. You're not you're not a dance hall artist. You're not. You know what I'm saying? You came over here to New York, you know, spit your shit. You're a dope rapper and all of that, but you made it on Black American culture. And to say that Black Americans have no culture, I thought that was very disrespectful and disingenuous. Sorry, as a Black American myself. And you know, and again, I think that we all bring our individual flavors to the culture, but to say we have no culture and you're living off of hip hop culture, very disrespectful, sir. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Touch it, break your neck, put your hands. Maybe Buster feels he should be selling out the Garden, and feels
Won't
in
be
some kind of way about it. Well, he should try to do that. He should try to do that. You know, ain't nothing to it but to do it, as they say, right?
Mm.
but but again, man, you know, again, I've always been the person that separates the music from the individual. I don't know the individuals, I just know the music. But you know, I do think that the common courtesy for artists who know that they have actual fan support, and you know, just give that acknowledgement. Just be a cool person, man. That's it.
So I'm gonna tell you what, Mike. This is what I mean about how I didn't like it. Like nobody's above it. You know the artist Seal, right? Seal is very, very big worldwide, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
I actually was on a plane with Seal once coming back from France. And and quite frankly, the flight was full and they made space for him on the flight. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And people were very happy to see him. I wasn't one of those people. Outside of Kiss from a Rose. And what's the other one? The one that sounds like a U2 song to me. I'm not that big of a fan. Just, you know what I mean? But I understand, I respect and appreciate who he is. Kiss from a Rose is shit.
Epic.
Yeah, no, it's epic. The whole movie. It's a whole movie. Damn the movie. The song better than the actual movie. But he would be an asshole, Mike. And there wasn't a lot of black people on the plane, but I turned back and I looked at him and I just told him flat out, I said, you don't have to be an asshole. These people love you.
Yeah.
And
But think about that, Coop. Think about what you said. Think about what kind of an asshole you gotta
hold on,
be.
just to let you know, I don't give a fuck who it is or where I am. Like he was getting on the plane, I turned back and looked at him, dead ass, looked him in the eye, looked up a little bit because he tall and he big. I was like, you don't have to be an asshole to these people. They love you.
But think about what you're saying, though, Coop. What kind of asshole are you to be an asshole to people who actually love you? You know what I'm saying? Like, what sense does that even make? Like,
no. This is what I'm saying, Mike. But to his credit, he needed that reality check because everybody else that came up and spoke to him on the plane after I called his ass out, he was nice to them. And so sometimes people need that shit.
you shouldn't need that, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
whatever. Coop was on the plane that day, so he was gonna get that in spades.
Yeah,
Wrong
man.
day.
there's never a point.
Wrong flight.
I mean, if there's ever a point where a person feels like you got to be mean to the people that actually support what you're doing, you need to go get a reality check. You know what I'm
how bad
saying?
it was? He had me taken up for white people on a plane in France. He's a little out of line.
I just don't understand the concept, though. It's like you go to the studio, and I'm talking about Busta Rhymes in this specific sense, right? You go to the studio, you put down work, and what do artists, especially artists like him, right, who make records for the club and for people to have a good time to? You make music for people to take it in and receive it and recept it well. You know, be very receptive to it, enjoy it, have a good time to it. Boom. Those people do that. Those people love those records. And in turn, they love you for making that record. Now you want to be an ass to the people that made these records jump? It makes me feel like certain artists feel like it wasn't the fans that made them who they were, it was the industry. And that's why I brought up the whole Adele thing. So you're nice to the people in the industry, right? But the people who actually make these records jump and make these records go, you're, habitually an ass to? That doesn't make sense. It makes me feel like you don't even credit the fans with basically, getting you to where you are. You think that it's some industry stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
how about this? And I say this respectfully. Well, even though he doesn't work the way that we like, Mike, this is why people love Andre 3000 so much.
Why so?
Mike, no, because I've had multiple run-ins with the man, and no matter what my sentiments are about what his musical output has not been, which is factual. I'm not saying anything that's not factual, and that's why it's like, even if, people around him may feel like it's overly critical, it's factual. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to say it in any sort of derogatory way, Mike. I told you he's the MC. Him and Big Boy made me believe that I could rap, Mike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm forever in their debt. I probably wouldn't be doing According to Hip Hop today if they don't come out and release something playalistic, because that's when I believed.
Right. Probably be doing something totally different.
I'd be doing something totally different if Southern Playalistic doesn't come out, Mike. Real shit. But he's class personified when you meet him, Mike. He's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet and have a conversation with, and he will fucking talk to you even if you are a stranger. I know, because I have had multiple... Mike, I had a run-in with him one time, and then I had a run-in with him literally a year later, and he was like, I felt like... And he literally said to me, I feel like I've talked to you before, brother, and we've had this conversation before. I was like, we actually have, brother. He's like, yeah, good to see you again, and smiled and shook my hand.
That's that Southern hospitality, though, man. You know what I mean? Like...
Now, Mike, if Andre had Busta Rhymes output, yeah, he would deserve to be number 12, because who the person and the personality is and who he actually is on stage... Like, the only thing he's missing is output. But all I'm saying is that, Andre may not have Busta's catalog, but he has something invaluable as a man and as a human being that, quite frankly, I didn't see from Busta Rhymes, and I'm disgusted. So fuck all that.
It must be really bad.
No, fuck all that music shit, Mike. I know what I've seen.
Leroy Green with the super chat says, I don't think Busta actually thinks Black Americans have no culture when he's 5%, which is literally Black American culture. I think he was just mad. No, Leroy, he wasn't mad when he said this. This was something where he was being joyous and rambunctious. And you're right, I wasn't even thinking about the whole 5% nation thing. You're right, that's Black American culture too. I don't know what these people. I don't know what people think when they say certain things.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'm talking about you walking out of Madison Square Garden and people saying hello to you. Period. It should not be a problem. You can, Mike, this is what I'm saying. You still going straight to your car, cause do we not?
Right. And and when you're talking about
it's Mike, it's 20 degrees outside and the wind blowing. You think we're trying to stand out here with you?
Right. Leroy Green with the super chat also says, dope to see you in NYC, Coop. That was fire. No, for real. Like, like you said, the weather's freezing. Ain't nobody on no tension type shit. It's like, I don't know, man.
Nas just got done killing the garden. Like you're not even you're like people sitting outside, fam, but they're not sitting outside waiting for you if they're trying to see somebody. Nas in the garden, fam. He just got done killing the set. It's like, Seeing you was on the humble. Hey, it's Buster. What up? What up? No, not even.
Well, I would like to see, and I know we got a lot of people in here, and maybe some people know some people. I would like to see Buster, explain this stuff that people say.
Don't explain shit to me. Just say hello when people say hello to you. How about that?
Hey man,
how about
maybe,
you say hello
maybe it was
fans?
an explanation.
How about when your fans say hello to you, you say hello. We don't have to talk about shit else.
Maybe there's an explanation why he does that to fans. Maybe there's an explanation of why, he felt the appropriate response was to throw a drink on that lady. Maybe maybe there's something to it. I don't know. I would like to hear him say something about it, but because again, the fans are important, and again, we're consistent with this, and a lot of people felt like we were beating up on Talib. I didn't like the tone that Talib was taking with his fans either. That type of stuff is weird to me. Like, people don't have to do anything, let alone support you. You know what I mean? Like, my dad always told me, like, people don't have to be nice to you. Like, people don't have to do anything. And the fact that Talib was out there acting like the fans owed Black Star, when in fact, over this past 20 some odd years, fans have been going to your shows. Now, regardless if whatever deal you signed initially and the fans bought the Black Star album and you didn't get the paper off of that, that is not the fans' fault. You shouldn't be out here chastising the fans like they did something wrong. Fans were going to your shows that you were getting paid for, I would imagine. You know what I'm saying? So, and without them fans coming to those shows, there are no payouts for a show. So don't sit here and act like the fans ain't did nothing for you over the past 25 years. That's disingenuous, and I think that was just uncalled for. Like, dude. And
hey, Mike, I'm just gonna go ahead.
I was gonna say, and on top of that, what is it, Luminary? Luminary charged me like 4 months for not even using the shit. And this is exactly why people had issue getting on the platform. I canceled it, and it was still charging me. So whatever. Trying to support.
I'm going to say this, so I'm going to try to provide some levity and some context to the things that I'm emanating about what I've seen from Buster and piggyback on what you're saying about Talib. I'm about to bring up 2 names, Mike, and I'm being very, very serious when I say this. Michael Jackson and Prince are not here because they physically wore themselves down, because they were dedicated to giving their fans the best show that they could possibly give for the entirety of their career.
Yeah.
Not just when they became major, from the time that those men stepped on stage, Mike, to the time that they died. They were about giving the fans the show that they deserve, to the point that it dilapidated their health.
James Brown too.
And these motherfuckers can't say hello?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
36 Chambers with the super chat says, speaking of Talib, he has been at every major hip-hop concert supporting his peers for the past few years now. Saw in the chat that he was at Nas MSG. Respect. Well, respect to that. But again, I don't like the tone that he took with his fans. I mean, I think that was just off kilter, off course, and I don't even think it was necessary to act like the fans didn't support you fully because you didn't get compensated for the first Black Star album. I think is off course. I don't even think it needs to even be mentioned. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But yes, Mike's been doing that since he was a kid. James did that to his death as well.
I have friends that have pictures with Prince, Mike.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
No. Mike's always, Mike and Prince and James and Stevie, these guys have always been like,
Mike,
top flight.
I'm not joking. Me and my friends danced in a club with Janet Jackson and her dancers after a concert. That is Janet fucking Jackson. She smiled and danced and kicked it with us.
Yeah.
I seen her cheekbones up close, Mike. Seen her footwork up close too. She nasty, Mike.
Listen, man, like, is it that hard to just be cool?
I'm going to say this again. Me and my friends have danced with Janet Jackson before. This nigga could not say hello to me? No, he the one that's wrong.
Yeah. Well, they say he consistently does this. Okay, so you kind of briefly went over some of your highlights of the show. overall experience, and what would you say the moment was on the show?
I think the moment everybody references is because this man is so secretive and mysterious is how, this is really deeper than him like on a competitive rap thing. His mother worked across the street from the garden at the post office, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he's telling the story, you realize, oh, this is deeper for him than just some, this is him kind of sort of like, look at me, mom. I'm across the street selling out.
The garden, man. This is the garden.
Not the post office. You know what I'm saying? Mom had to work across the street at the post office. Son is selling out the garden.
At what point did he do this?
This is towards the end.
Okay.
Yeah, this is in the last part of the set.
What songs followed?
This is what I mean. I have it blocked off, and I'd have to go through the footage because there's so much stuff, Mike, and it's happening fast. And it's like, and I'm trying to enjoy the show, but I'm trying to catch some footage too. So that's what I mean. Is it's like, and I'm working off of 90 minutes of sleep, so it is kind of blurry.
Yeah.
For me, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
But that was the moment. I think the memory lane moment was touching, just because it was one of those. That's that nigga moments. It's like, yeah, you see that? You see, he did that with no problem. But I think it was one of those shows where everybody had different. You want to know what, Mike? It was like on some purple tape shit. You know how we still arguing like fucking 30 years later about what the best song on the purple tape is. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how the show was. It's like you're kind of going to be arguing about what your favorite moment was, depending on how you feel. It's kind of like, oh, well, some of it's glaciers of ice, some people verbal intercourse, some people ice cream, some people incarcerated scar faces, some people criminology.
That's what I'm hearing from here. I'm hearing people talk about one mic moment. I'm hearing people talk about
right. That's what I mean about it was his best show, and it was encompassing because it's like, well, Mike, there were many moments, and depending on like, what it is that he provided that you like, that's what I mean. He did everything for everybody. So he provided, I think, all of his audience with one of their moments. Like there were women in there that probably weren't totally happy with the show till Hot Boys and Chihuahua and You Only came on. You feel me? No, he gave them that. It's like, oh, you ahead, take this representing this life's a bitch and have a good day. If you're Coop and you want, him to stay current and some shit to ride to, thank you for that. Death Row East. And that legit. You feel what I'm saying? Thank you for Death Row East and legit. For people that like appreciate the old stuff but want you to stay doing new hot shit. Like he gave something to everybody. So the moments was all about what you prefer. For me, Memory Lane. Originally, when I was a kid, it was my favorite song on Illmatic. And I still think that second verse is one of his 5 best verses. The fact that he's doing it a cappella. The fact that I've been on stage before and know how hard it is to just do any old sort of regular verse. You know what I mean? So when I look at all those things and plus how I personally feel about the song, that's it for me. But if you have other moments, totally okay, because that's what a great show is supposed to give you.
Well, that speaks to his longevity, that speaks to his versatility, and that speaks to just how well that he's able to put together a show at this point in his career, with the past, present, and damn near future. Dante Jetta with the super chat says, it was dope being able to build with Coop in the physical at Sweet Chicks. And him passing me the laptop so I could pay homage to A2HH. Love the show. Appreciate the love, man. Like those are powerful moments, man, in that episode where, we were able to build with people in real life that we talk to basically 2 times a week, every single week about some hip hop shit. This is the virtual barbershop here. Yeah,
I want to shout out Will. I asked Will to come sit with me in 007 and 007's people. Will's the one that gave me the jump drive with all that stuff on it that he made for us. Like, me and him, we had a moment where he just kind of like shared. He shared some of the things he'd been through, Mike, and how we're helping. And yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it was, originally we weren't, we didn't plan on, things getting to that point, but I think it's a beautiful thing that these things organically grow to the point where, yeah, man, we're able to help in that way. Because you guys help us too. Jay Short with the super chat says, with Busta Rhymes' skills, hype, and resources, it's literally impossible that he never made a classic or isn't even a top 15. But this story Coop told explains why no connection why he has no connection to people. Connection with people is important, man.
Think about it. Where's his core base at, and how do they ride for him? So I think you're seeing some of that.
And you're seeing why. And what people got to understand too, celebrities specifically, when people see you, they may not ever see you again. And so that moment that you run into somebody that you may be a fan of, depending on whatever fan level you're at, it's very special to that person. You could be dissing and turning away one of your biggest fans. And all of that work that you put in that, built that individual fan can go right out the window, and you just doing, not doing something that you could just commonly do, like saying hello to somebody. Like, I wouldn't do that to somebody I didn't know just walking down the street, even if they didn't recognize me from wherever, whatever. If somebody says hello to you, you say hello back. That's it. That's it. and I don't want to sit here and make excuses.
You had a mother, right? You had a mother once. You know what she did? She raised you to be respectful and say hello to people who say hello to you. It's one of those things our mothers teach us when we're very young.
Yeah.
How to greet.
That's it. Why be rude? It takes way more energy to be rude.
I want you to understand, Mike, this didn't happen in Atlanta. That's why I'm mad. It's like that happened in Madison Square Garden in New York City streets. And niggas was numb to it. That's why I'm taking issue with it. They like, yeah, that's it. That's how he
But see, no, and that's why I brought up the whole Adele thing, where he kisses her hand, calls her queen, calls her empress. He knows how to be gracious.
Not to the fans.
It just depends on who it is, obviously. You know what I mean?
Like, even if you was lit, fam, be like, yo, I'm lit, y'all, I gotta go.
Right. That's easy. Mr. Davis with the super chat says, Coop, it was a real pleasure meeting you outside right after the show ended. Like my girl and I told you, we appreciate what you do for the culture. It's love. That is love. I think I seen another one. Mike H with the super chat says, when AZ came out, my 23-year-old son jumped up so high, he came down with an elbow on the top of my head.
See what I mean? Everybody had a moment. That's what I'm saying, Mike. Yeah. Everybody had a moment. He gave everybody something. That's what a great artist is supposed to do when they're having a great performance. He gave all the people what they needed.
He said, someone from the upper deck spilled beer on us, and no one cared. It was a hip-hop moment. That's love, man. That's what I like to hear, man. Incredible show. Incredible, fans coming together in one venue. This is some real hip-hop shit. This is what hip-hop is supposed to be.
And Fam was right, too. I can't even front. You could, to quote my father, it looked like a hustlers convention in there.
I'm sure you saw people of all walks of life there, because even in Sweet Chicks, I saw, a variety of, you know what I'm saying,
it was a nice blended mix too, Mike. I was liking the mix. I was liking the mix.
How would you compare this to? Because you went to the Kanye West listening event here in Atlanta. Right. As far as audience, what's the vibe? Because I know that was a whole different audience what Kanye brought out, and
this energy was better because we knew what we were getting.
Okay.
That the energy in the Kanye building was that unexpected nervousness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was different. In here, it was kind of joyful, kind of bubbling. Everybody's fresh. Everybody's dressed up. Everybody's kind of bubbling a little bit. Everybody's excited in a different way. It's the Nas show at Madison Square Garden.
Right.
Niggas all got on their fly shit. The chicks is all decked out. You know what I'm saying? It was a different vibe. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. And I think there is something too. I mean, there's nothing like, new music, but it's a different thing when you know what you're about to hear.
Yeah. This is what I mean. With the Kanye thing is oh shit, well, I don't know what he about to do. But the Nas thing, it was man, I hope he do this, or I hope he do that. Yeah. I hope he do this, or that energy is different. You know what I'm saying? People walking up to me yo, Coop, what he doing?
Right. I don't know.
That's different.
Yeah.
I'm nigga, I'm standing out here with you. I'm waiting for the nigga to show up just like you are. Take this picture.
So where did Made You Look come in the show? Was that towards the end, middle?
No, I think it was about the middle of the show.
Okay.
It wasn't That's what I mean. He gotta, He's the owner of Rap's best catalog, Mike. So it's like, if anything, if there could be any real critique of the performance, I guess you would say, in my humble estimation, it would probably be the fact that it's like, well, he probably missed some of your favorite shit because he's got so much great shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like me and 007 talked about. It's like, well, would have liked to hear 4016 building because I thought that would have been great stadium flow.
You're right, man. Hit Boy is giving him a lot of stadium flow.
Yeah, tell me 4016 ain't stadium flow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Because think about it. Think about it, man. You just went to the show. What would this show look like without this KD series and Magic? You know, from a stadium flow standpoint.
You would be having to focus on more stuff like the Don off of Life is Good.
Yeah.
That Uchi Wally, You Owe Me Hot Boys run would be more prominent in people's minds and maybe not always for the positive. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at some of the stuff. Like, you might get stuff instead. Like, you probably would get Nas is Like. You know what I'm saying? If that were the case, like, I can't stress in words like how important this KD run has been. Plus, you know, with the and one with Magic, you know, we call Magic the and one now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's the trilogy and the and one that came with it, like that limited edition bonus album. It's like the best rapping that you'll hear in the modern era.
I think the thing is,
it's important, Mike. It's important. It's the separating measure. It's real. You can honestly look at this and say, this is where the separation between him and whoever else occurred.
You're right.
It's like, because it's documented, and he documented it in the Garden on Friday. So it's like, yeah, it's in stone.
This run is really important as far as like anybody who wanted to debate who has the best catalog in hip hop. This right here is the separator. You know what I'm saying? KD 1, 2, 3, and Magic is the separator. So not only is this guy the best lyricist ever, you know, in my personal opinion, I think Rakim, I give him the nod. But if you want to talk about in totality and just being totally objective, Nas the greatest lyricist ever, right? You know, we could do a whole top 20 of just his storytelling songs alone. So you got that. And now you got the full, you know, the best catalog album for album of anyone. So the conversation, I mean, it's over at this moment, in my personal opinion.
Mike, I wasn't joking. This is what I don't think people was really hearing me when I was saying this. And I was using this song as an example because it was my favorite one. When I'd be like, nah, Mike, but what fam got for Death Row East? Last night is what I was talking about, Mike. Legit, 30, 27 Summers, Thun, Store Run, Death Row East, Ultra Black, Blue Bands. No, Mike, those are 8 songs that got played last night. The guy that everybody keeps saying, you know what I'm saying, comparing him to, it's like, no, he don't got nothing for those records. That's what I was saying. I was just using Death Row East as an example because personal favorite. But that's what I was just saying. It's like, he ain't got nothing for that Death Row East. Last night was what I was talking about, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't got nothing like that because you're going to be playing your old shit to get that effect. That's what I'm talking about.
New York radio should be playing Legit 30 and Get Light and Reminisce, actually. All 4 of those records should be played.
And they need to be playing Death Row East just for Coop. Just because I showed up in the building and showed out. Can I get Death Row East one time for Coop?
Come on, E-Ro. Let us know why certain stuff ain't getting played. Because I know E-Ro's fucking with it, and he's listening to it. Why ain't it getting played? What's going on? Uncle Fran.
Ebro been playing. No. Ebro been playing.
On Hot 97 or on Apple?
No, he no. He did a Hot 97 Nas mix run about a month ago, Mike. Okay. He did.
Well,
he
good.
did. He played Nas on Hot 97. I'm off Ebro ass. Ebro
knows his stuff, man. You know what
I've always said he knows his stuff, and that's part of like where some of the disappointment's been coming from with some things. Right. But he's totally like, no. I don't have nothing to say, Mike. He's been the one media personality showing up and showing out about Nas that actually has some real power and sway on the corporate level. So.
Yeah. Uncle Fran with the super chat says, Coop, Leroy was not there, but let the community know that the J fans, like me, were there too. Nice to meet you, Coop. Yeah.
Nice to meet Unc, too.
Hey, Unc's from Brooklyn, man, so, you know, that's where the loyalty comes in there. But, Unc, you know in your motherfucking heart, your man has been slid to number 2. You know it, man. I had to admit it too. Jay was my guy too, man. He slid to number 2. It is what it is, Uncle Fram. You know what it is. You know what it is. It's like Nakia is never going to admit Jay's number 2. Like Nakia's
She's from
Brooklyn
Brooklyn.
dad. Yeah. Chris Scott with the $20 super chat showing love. Says, salute, brothers. Keep rocking. I would love to sit in this live show one day. Love the show. Come through. Shit.
Holla at us.
Holla at us for real. I guess, man, we got to get up out of here in a second, man. I didn't know how long we were going to be doing this, but
yeah, I think we just needed to pull up and like talk to the people, do what we always do. You know what I'm saying? Keep it authentic, keep it funky.
Update people real quick. I don't want to drag this out. I mean, we've been on here about over an hour and a half, but any closing thoughts about the show and about New York and just about how your weekend went?
The weekend really was lovely, Mike. I mean, I was always taught this, Mike, and my father just kind of shared this with me. You know what I'm saying? I haven't told a lot of people this. My father's battling stage 4 liver cancer right now. He has been for 2 years. And I know my genes is good because he's whooping cancer's ass right now. Shout out to my pops. But my pops was telling me one of the last times I was sitting down with him, you go where people love you and where people want you. Now, he was talking about my personal relationships and dealings, but applicable to all things. And so, the love that I got, it's like, Mike, it's not a question of if we need to go, it's a question of us going up there and doing it right and reciprocating the love that was given to me. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Because the love was really, really real, Mike. I mean, like, everybody in this fucking city knows me. And, like, I'll be walking through places and people won't even dap me up down here anymore. They'll be like, that's Coop. What up, Coop? I'll be like, yeah, what's up? I hate you too,
nigga. You know how home is. Jay
That's
Short,
what I mean.
yeah.
It's like, and I'm not saying it like to exacerbate the situation. It's just like, no, I know that that's the Mecca and that's home, but it's like, home of hip hop. But it's like, no, Mike, I'm going where the motherfuckers is wanting me and loving me at too.
Real.
Yeah, I don't have time in my life to be playing around with people who hate me.
I hear that. Jay Short with the super chat says, KD 1 and 3's artwork is iconic. KD might not be the best of the trilogy, but that album cover is classic. Which one do you think is the best album cover of the 3?
The first one.
The first one?
First one, without question.
It's something about the first one now, going back listening to it, even though I think that 3 is just the best of all things combined. But I think that the strong moments on the first one are some of the strongest moments in the whole trilogy, in my personal opinion. But I think that KD 2 is a great middle ground. They just did a great job, man, with these 4 albums, man. And what people got to understand too, and because we're talking about somebody making 4 albums in 2.5 years, 20-something years into their career. 4 albums, a strong 4 albums, is a career for a top 25 MC.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is what, like, they got a guy at number 12, and not to bring this back up, who doesn't have any solo efforts, but even Outkast's incredible catalog, that's 4 albums.
He's a great guy, though. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He really is.
I'm just talking about
I remember every conversation I've ever had with
albums.
Andre Benjamin. Like, I remember every conversation I've had with Andre Benjamin because he's always been so nice to me.
Oh, yeah, he's a great guy. All of those guys over there, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to Big Gip. Shout out to Cujo.
Yeah, shout out to Gip. Shout out to Big Boy. Big Boy follows us on Twitter.
I've had many conversations with Cujo. Cujo's a great dude, man.
Yeah, you've had Cujo in the studio, right?
Yeah, man. Wisdom. Like, when you listen to somebody like Cujo talk, like, I feel like even in his rhymes, it's almost like you're listening to
educational, informative.
Yeah, you're listening to a wiser, older person. I even felt like that back, you know what I'm saying, in their 95, 96, 97. Listen to his verse on Y'all Scared. Like, it sounds like he's the wisdom in the group. You know what I mean? And everybody else is, younger than him.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So let me say this, Mike, and I was talking to people about this while we were in the garden. Maybe we can leave it with this,
Mm-hmm.
People thought I was tripping when I was like, well, you could say hit top 10 all time right now.
Yeah, he can.
I'm not joking when I say that.
No,
and I'm not being no
legit.
fan. I was just in the garden, Mike. Like everything that I've been talking about, what he's providing Nas, production wise, the evidence was on stage on Friday. He's top 10 because here's what I was telling people. It's like, no. I was like, I love Dilla. Okay? How many classic albums did Dilla produce? How many really great albums did he produce where he did all the beats?
From end to end, I would say 2 off the top of my head. But
what are the 2?
I would say Fantastic.
Because he didn't do
from
Stakes
Slum
as
Village.
High. Okay.
Yeah, I would say Fantastic from Slum Village, and the other one would be Like Water for Chocolate, in my opinion. And I know he didn't do the whole thing.
He didn't do all that.
He didn't do the whole thing. Yeah.
So he don't get the credit for doing all of that because he didn't do all that, Mike. And the most notable song on there might be produced by DJ Premier.
Well,
so that's what I'm saying. So
I think The Light is the most notable song on there, but I feel you. Probably the best song on there.
Best song. I'm sorry, not notable.
Yeah.
Best.
Yeah.
Now, listen to what we're saying. I'm saying this respectfully about Dilla. Do I think Hit Boy make a beat like Dilla or like Metro? Like just beat for beat? Well, no. Show me what them album catalogs looking like again.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, no, when people like, well, Metro better, Coop, it's like, yeah, if you just need one beat right now, probably. But if I want an album, if I want a series of tracks, no. Hit is who I'm going to right now. Because here's the thing about it, and I say this respectfully even about Alchemist. What Alchemist projects did he executive produce have the range of these Hit Boy projects, Mike?
Right. And people are going to think I'm being extreme when I say this. What Hit Boy just did is similar to what Q-Tip
Very
did.
RZA-like.
I was going to say Q-Tip with the Tribe albums, like with People's Instinctive, Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, and shit. That's 3, and they had to move on to Dilla with Beats, Rhymes, and Life, you know? So
and let's just be honest. When Dilla came into the fold is when Tribe stuff got worse, and I'm just saying it for what it is, Mike. I'm not saying he's not great, but let's just call facts facts.
No, you're right.
What's Tribe's 2 weakest albums? Who had a bigger hand in them?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so when I be saying Hit Boy top 10, Mike, show me the Pete Rock albums. Show me the 4 Pete Rock albums, Mike.
I agree with you. No, I agree. I think a lot
Show me
of
the
the
4
time.
Large Professor albums, Mike. Show me the 4 Havoc albums.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. If we let's just do it like this. If we were to do like a versus type of setup where we're going 20 for 20, it would be very difficult for somebody to beat Hit Boy. You would have to be.
All I'm saying is that like I'm not playing. Like when I be calling stuff, it's like I don't be calling it because I'm wrapped in the moment. It's like no, I really listen and dissect this stuff. It's like no, that man top 10 right now, and he working on Benny's project too right now. And he's already done a project with Benny.
As incredible.
I got into an argument with niggas up there because they liked the Timeless record that he did. I was like, that shit ain't fire. No, that shit fire. I'm like, no, it's not.
Well, what I was gonna say, man, like, as incredible of a career that Metro has had, just producing singles. You're right. When you look at what Hit Boy's been able to do by producing full albums, that puts him in a league of his own with his peers and with the previous generation as well.
What do we hold these other? Why we hold Dr. Dre so high, Mike?
Albums.
Chronic.
Yeah.
Doggy Style.
Yeah.
Albums. Don't
2001.
nobody walk around saying Dr. Dre's the greatest producer ever because he did nothing but a G thing. Or next episode, they say the Chronic, Doggy Style,
yeah, you're right.
Niggas for Life. They list off the albums. Do we not list off the albums?
You're right. No, you're right. Hits top 10.
When we talk about Preem on here, we talk about 2 things. Talk about Moment of Truth, and then we talk about that Nas, Big, and J shit. Yeah. After we talk about Moment of Truth, because Moment of Truth is what?
Listen, the Gangstar stuff is super important for Preem's legacy. Why we hold Preem so high is because of the Gangstar stuff. Everything else is extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you have to have albums, and Hit's doing that, and Hit's easily top 10 and climbing. Let me just say what
Kanye.
It is.
When we talk about Kanye, what do we talk about?
Albums. Yeah.
Talk about Daytona, The Blueprint, The College Dropout, Late Red. These are albums.
Yeah.
Don't feed me that like one by one beat shit. We ain't never played by those rules, Mike.
No, you're right. That puts you in a separate category, but the great
So,
greats
so the
make albums.
category he's up in is up very, very high because I don't know too many rap producers walking around with 4 albums like this.
No,
I
it's true.
don't know, Mike. I don't know 10. That's why I said he's top 10.
And then he did it for an MC, all-time great MC that everybody claimed was a bad beat picker. So Reggie with the super chat says, "Coop,
How that bad beat pick and go with 30, Mike.
Right.
30 was the hardest shit that got played out
Yeah.
of 35 songs, damn near."
Reggie with the super chat says, "Coop, was it true that that Jay was in the building for Nas's concert? If so, seeing Nas put on such a powerful performance, light a fire under Hov? Did you hear that Jay was there? I didn't hear that.
I got no confirmation of that. I don't think that's.
That's all speculation, innuendo, made up, whatever else. I think it's a couple more super chats before we go. I want to acknowledge people's bread before we go. Leroy Green with the super chat said, "Respectfully, Mike, Hit Boy ain't no Dilla or Q-Tip."
Maybe not Q-Tip.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't think it.
Oh,
Like,
you know what? Hold
How
on.
about
We're about
I
to
don't
hear this new Q-Tip and LL Cool J album. LL says,
no. See, this is what I mean. It's like, no, I'm not tripping. It's like, did I say that he was rivaling Dr. Dre and RZA and Primo and Q-Tip just that? No, I didn't say that. Is he top 10? Well, yeah. I told you, Mike, if I had to put him somewhere in the top 10, I'd probably put him, I don't know, at 10. But there. You feel me?
Well.
But there. Mike, how about this? I love Havoc, Mike.
mm-hmm.
The infamous Hell on Earth, Murder Music, Mike. It's 3. It's not 4.
You're right. Well,
You want me to go through? You want to go down Prince Paul shit because he didn't executive produce They Lost Stakes is High. Like, but he 1, 2, 3, Mike. You feel what I'm saying?
Yo, hold on.
Fred.
My battery's about to die on this laptop. Hold on 1 second. About to move some things over real quick so we don't just get cut off.
No. It's cool. It's time to go catch the fade
it's
anyway.
time
You
to
know what
go.
I'm saying?
But yeah, I think we're gonna be. I'm gonna be talking to somebody who's hearing the LL Cool J and Q-Tip album. So I'll keep people posted on that.
So
that's
we need to cover the Rome. I told you Rome Streets and Big Ghost LTD just dropped the project. We need to check that out. You just told me Meth is on there.
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna
So
check that out. Talk about that
Friday.
Wednesday or Friday.
Mike,
yeah.
Mike, one more thing. It's just a little according to hip hop business. I forgot about this cypher shit, Mike. You, me, and 007 need to get up on that beat I was talking about and catch a little wreck.
Okay, we'll do that.
In old school terminology.
High Def with the super chat says, "I was in the building at 30 had the garden shaking." Well, see, there it is. And on that note, we out of here.